Hi, Charles Cherney here. And in The Real Deal, today's question is, when can a seller be certain that the sale event will close? So quite frankly, the honest answer to that question is the seller can only be certain at the closing, on the day of the closing, when the closing has happened and the money has transferred. So there's no certainty in real estate, and anything can happen right up until the closing. So really, it's going to take the closing event itself and the money transfer to occur for the event to be complete and for the seller to have 100% certainty that the sale event has occurred. Now, we can step back from that and realize that for all intents and purposes, the certainty of the closing is informed mainly by end of any outstanding contingencies. And as in the state of Massachusetts, and I'm speaking specifically from my own experience as an agent in Cambridge and Somerville, Mass, the journey from offer to closing can feature a mortgage contingency in many transactions. And if in fact that is the case, for most sellers, the moment of certainty in their mind, at least, emerges when the buyer has their mortgage commitment and the mortgage contingency is satisfied. So to go back to the beginning, in Massachusetts, a buyer makes an offer in writing and identifies any contingencies that the offer is contingent upon in their offer. So for example, it may include a home inspection contingency. It may include a condo doc and budget review contingency, and it may include a mortgage contingency. So if the offer is accepted and there is an inspection contingency, that typically happens in short order after offer acceptance and prior to the signing of the purchase and sale that replaces the offer as the binding agreement between buyer and seller. Condo doc and budget review would also be typically completed by signing of the purchase and sale. So when the purchase and sale in Massachusetts is signed, replacing the offer as the binding agreement between buyer and seller, typically the one significant contingency that may still exist is the mortgage contingency. And typically the bank will need 4+ weeks to issue the mortgage commitment. So let's imagine that a seller accepts an offer on June 1st and signs a purchase and sale on June 8th. And by June 8th, in this example, the home inspection is resolved and the condo doc and budget review is completed. And essentially, as the purchase and sale is signed and the second deposit, typically for 5% of the purchase price, is put forward by the buyer and the new agreement is signed binding buyer and seller, the PNS as we call it, it may just be that the only outstanding contingency is the mortgage contingency. And that may be due, say, July 7th, just about a month out after the purchase and sale is signed. And if the closing is, say, end of July, the seller in most instances is going to feel if the mortgage commitment is issued and that contingency in the purchase and sale is satisfied, well, they're going to start packing. They're going to say, okay, I accepted an offer. I dealt with contingencies prior to purchase and sale, and now the buyer has their mortgage commitment, and therefore I can rest easy that all contingencies are satisfied, and we just need to get to the closing date and close. So that's sort of, in a nutshell, how most sellers here will examine the situation and begin to breathe easy if the mortgage contingency is met. Now, it's not uncommon for that mortgage contingency commitment date in the PNS to be extended. So in this example, with an offer on June 1 and a purchase and sale June 8th and a mortgage contingency with a commitment due July 7th, it may be that the lender needs more time to issue the commitment and therefore it's pushed from July 7th to July 21st. And that puts the seller through a couple more weeks of holding his or her breath, waiting for that last contingency to be met ahead of the closing in this example at the end of the month. So that mortgage contingency is all important. And this is why we can understand if a seller's blessed with multiple offers, they may favor a cash offer without a mortgage contingency because it's one less thing for them to worry about later in the process on the journey to the closing date. So again, to go back to the beginning, there are no guarantees. And truly, the only certainty comes on the closing day, at the closing itself, when it's occurred and the money's moved. But we can, as this video has meant to make clear, step back from that and begin to understand that it's when contingencies are met that most sellers feel the deal is certain, since there's no exit ramps remaining at that point that are identifiable in the purchase and sale that would suggest the buyer is going to exit. So That's it. My name is Charles Cherney. I'm a top agent here in the Cambridge and Somerville market, and I welcome the opportunity with my business partner to be of service, to answer your questions about the market, your home, and the community, and to help you buy the right home and sell for the best price. Be in touch by text, telephone, or email. Take care.